Have you ever looked at a family in your neighborhood, or perhaps even your own family, and thought that everything looked absolutely perfect? The lawn is manicured, the grades are perfect, the holiday photos are color coordinated, and everyone is smiling that bright, wide smile. From the outside, it looks like a sanctuary of love and support. Yet, if you grew up in a house like this, you might have felt a strange, lingering emptiness that you could never quite explain. You might have felt that you were crazy for feeling suffocated when everyone told you how lucky you were. Every household has its ups and downs. No family is perfect all the time. Real love is messy. It involves disagreement, repair, and honest emotion. But some families really do seem like they are perfect from the outside, never showing a single crack in the armor. I am here to tell you today that this might not be reality. The most loving, understanding, and caring parents on social media might not be what they seem behind closed doors. This phenomenon has a name in psychology, and it is called pseudo-mutuality, because upholding appearances is so important to a pseudo-mutual family. It can be incredibly difficult to tell if what you are experiencing is real love or just a performance. Today, we are going to walk through the signs to help you spot the difference, validate your reality, and help you find your own voice. The masquerade of intimacy. The first challenge in healing from this dynamic is simply having a good understanding of what pseudo-mutuality actually is. It is a big clinical word, but the concept is something many of us know in our bones. The official definition is a family relationship that has a superficial appearance of mutual openness and understanding. Although, in fact, the relationship is rigid and depersonalizing. So, in other words, everything is a facade. I want you to imagine a building that looks like a beautiful, welcoming preschool. It has bright colors on the outside, a playground in the front, and a sign that says, "Welcome." But when you step inside, you realize it is actually a prison. The doors are locked, there are strict schedules, and you are not allowed to leave. Pseudo-mutuality is like a prison disguised as a preschool. It is perfectly sweet, loving, close, and wholesome on the outside. But on the inside, there are strict rules, and everyone is assigned an identity that they are not allowed to change. In a healthy family, the structure of the family bends to accommodate the growth of the child. In a pseudo-mutual family, the child must bend or break to accommodate the structure of the family. The main goal isn't connection. The main goal is maintaining the image of connection. It is a shared play where everyone has a script, and if you improvise, you are punished. The narcissistic architect. This dynamic does not usually appear out of nowhere. It typically happens when one or both of the parents are narcissists, have narcissistic traits, or have a narcissistic personality disorder. Now, we use the word narcissist a lot these days, but in this context, I want you to think of the narcissistic parent not just as someone who loves mirrors, but as a prison warden. The narcissistic parent is like a warden who decides what you will do, how you will do it, and even who you are and who you will be. They view the family not as a group of individuals, but as an extension of themselves. Just as your arm does not have a separate identity from you, they do not see you as having a separate identity from them. In a pseudo-mutual family, rather than getting to know and understand their children, parents will try to control who their children are to ensure the reflection in the mirror looks good. This control is often disguised as care. They might say, "I am only doing this because I want the best for you," or "We are a special family and we do things differently." But beneath that care is a rigid demand for compliance. They are not asking, "Who are you?" They are telling you, "This is who you must be." The suffocation of rigid rules. One of the hallmarks of this dynamic is the presence of extremely rigid rules. These are not always rules like be home by 10, but rather rules about your identity. Let us look at a specific example. Imagine a child named Alex. From a young age, the parents decide that Alex is a swimmer. Maybe the father wanted to be a swimmer, or the mother loves the prestige of being a swim mom. So Alex swims. Alex swims in the morning. Alex swims in the evening. The parents buy the best gear, drive to every practice, and cheer the loudest at the galas. From the outside, it looks like these parents are incredibly supportive. Neighbors say, "Wow, look how dedicated they are to Alex's passion." They see the cheering, the financial investment, and the time spent. They see a close-knit family rallying around a talent. But here is the reality. Alex hates swimming. The chlorine makes his skin itch. He hates the competition, and he dreams of painting or playing the guitar. But in a pseudo-mutual family, if Alex decides he does not like swimming, the whole facade of caring and understanding falls apart. He cannot quit because he is not just swimming for himself. He is swimming to uphold the family image of success. If Alex tries to speak up, he is met with guilt. "After all we have sacrificed for you," they might say, "you are just going through a phase. You are a swimmer. It is who you are." The rules of the household are designed to keep you from breaking that identity, and therefore destroying the facade. In reality, it can feel like your parents are breathing down your neck and controlling your every move. Your reward for playing along is that the family gets along. If you stop playing the role, the love stops flowing. They aren't supporting you. They are supporting the identity they have chosen for you and the family's image. The ghost in the machine. Depersonalization. When you live this way for years, something tragic happens to your soul. You experience depersonalization. Because of all the ways your parents have structured your life, it can feel like you have not pursued anything of your own. You are living a life that was ghostwritten by someone else. Your successes are all credited to your parents. If you get an A on a test, it is because they helped you study. If you win a trophy, it is because of their genetics or their support. You become a vessel for their glory. You may feel like you live to serve your parents and like you are trapped in a role you never auditioned for. Over time, you start to lose touch with what you actually like. If someone asks, "What is your favorite movie?" or "What do you want to do this weekend?" you might panic. You might look for the right answer rather than the honest answer. Pursuing your own dreams and passions may sound strange or far-fetched because it goes against what your parents want, or because your dreams are decided on by your parents. This depersonalization is a deep spiritual wound. Along with the stress of playing along with the whims of your parents, it can cause severe mental health issues like low self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. You learn to disconnect from your own gut instincts because your instincts are constantly telling you this is wrong. But your survival depends on believing this is right. You become a stranger to yourself. The transaction of affection, strings attached. In a healthy environment, love is a gift. It is given freely, simply because you exist. In a pseudo-mutual family, love is a wage. It is earned through compliance. When your parents only show love when you do what they want, it feels like their affection comes with strings attached. It is like they are insinuating that I will love you for as long as you do what I say. If you perform the role of the good daughter or the star athlete, you are showered with praise, gifts, and warmth. But the moment you step out of line, the moment you express a dissenting opinion, a negative emotion, or a desire for independence, the warmth evaporates. It is replaced by the silent treatment, cold shoulders, or passive-aggressive comments. This can be really emotionally taxing because it feels like your value as a person depends on whether you meet their expectations. You learn that you are not lovable for who you are, but for what you do. You are not a human being to them. You are a human doing. This creates a state of chronic anxiety where you are constantly scanning your parents' faces to see if you are safe or if you have disappointed them. You become a perfectionist, not because you want to be perfect, but because you are terrified of the rejection that comes with being flawed. The echo in adult relationships, the tragedy of pseudo-mutuality, is that it does not end when you move out of the house. We carry our childhood maps into our adult territories. Knowing this is important because if you are not aware of this dynamic in your upbringing, you might unconsciously attract partners or friends who do the same. We often gravitate toward what is familiar, even if what is familiar is painful. In romantic relationships, you might find yourself drawn to individuals who replicate the dynamics you experienced with your parents. You might find a partner who is charming and seemingly perfect on the outside, but controlling and rigid on the inside. You might find someone who loves you only when you are happy and accommodating, but withdraws when you are sad or needy, and when you are conditioned to think that your worth is tied to the approval and expectations of others. You may constantly feel pressured to conform to their expectations, even to the detriment of your own well-being, to maintain their affection and acceptance. You might become a people pleaser, terrified of setting boundaries because you fear that a boundary equals abandonment. So, how else have your adult relationships been influenced by this? This leads us to our next point, the mirroring of the family dynamic. When you are raised in a pseudo-mutual household, your other relationships, even as adults, can be affected as well. You might find that you treat others like your parents treated you, or you treat others like you treated your parents. For example, you might try to accommodate them as much as possible and do everything they ask. You become the easy girlfriend or the low-maintenance friend. You might also feel responsible for others' emotions. If your partner is in a bad mood, you immediately think, "What did I do wrong? How can I fix this?" Just like you did with your parents. In romantic relationships and friendships, you take a very passive role, waiting to be told who to be. You may also lack boundaries. You might overshare or let people use you because you were never allowed to have a private self growing up. Emotionally, you may have trouble acknowledging your feelings and expressing your needs. You might swallow your anger or sadness until you explode, or you might numb yourself completely because feeling feels dangerous. Breaking the cycle and finding truth. If you are listening to this and feeling a tightness in your chest or tears pricking your eyes, please know that you are safe here. It is a heavy realization to acknowledge that the love you received was conditional. In your adult life, you may find that your childhood in a pseudo-mutual household without real love was traumatic. It is a quiet trauma, invisible to the neighbors, but real to you. And so, many people seek therapy. And therapy, along with cutting contact or establishing low contact with parents, were found to be cathartic changes for people raised in pseudo-mutual households. Taking space is not an act of malice. It is an act of survival. It allows you to step out of the play and figure out who you are when no one is watching. This is not normal for family relationships based on real love. Real parental love comes from authentic understanding and nurturing. It says, "I see you, I hear you, and I love you, even when we disagree." Real love is curious about who you are becoming, rather than controlling who you must be. Pseudo-mutuality is so effective because it is disguised as real love. At first glance, it seems to fulfill all of the same things: security, belonging, praise. But on closer inspection, it fulfills nothing. Instead, it opens you to depersonalization, depression, and anxiety. It is important to note that parents who raise children like this often do not do it intentionally or with evil intent. They do it because they have narcissistic traits that influence their parenting style, or because they were raised in pseudo-mutual families themselves. They are passing down a generational wound. That isn't to say it is unavoidable or excusable. Parents have the responsibility to guide their children to become fulfilled, independent adults. Pseudo-mutuality, by definition, cannot achieve that. A path forward. If you are a parent watching this and you worry that this sounds like you, please do not drown in shame. Shame keeps us stuck. Instead, seek guidance and find resources that will help you lead your family more effectively out of love rather than fear. It is never too late to get to know your child for who they truly are. And if you were raised with pseudo-mutuality, I want to remind you that your identity is yours to reclaim. You are allowed to quit the swimming team. You are allowed to have messy emotions. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to disappoint people if it means being true to yourself. How have you dealt with this in your life? Have you found ways to break the script? Let us know in the comments below. We are building a community of truth tellers here, and your story might be the key that unlocks someone else's cage. If you found this video informative or helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We are here to help you navigate the complex journey of being human. Thank you so much for watching, for being brave enough to look at the truth, and for being you. Until next time, keep your aura bright.